Okay, this is a 1953 Ford Jubilee, Golden Jubilee. And I'm making this video for me so that I can remember how to put it back together again. Right there is the bolt that goes at the bottom of the hood, near the bottom of the radiator on both sides. The nut has a different size than the head of the bolt, and I believe one of them's a 5/8, but that doesn't matter. And it goes right down there in that hole. The other bolt that's important are 2 1/2-inch bolts that hold the hood to the instrument panel, and you can't see them. They're hidden underneath the light, about even with the air cleaner on the other side, so don't forget to put those back in. As far as these bolts, they are a piece of cake as long as you don't lose them, and I don't know what size they are, but they have to go in on both sides. This little segment of the movie is only to remind me that the headlights are wired from the switch to the right headlight and then across under the hood to the left. And I'm going to have to cut the wires to get the hood off, which is fine, no big deal. And soon I will be able to begin rewiring. And as you can see, I have the bumper off. There are 2 large bolts that hold the bumper. I have those. I know which ones they are. I took 3 little screws out of this area, but I really didn't need to, so I could actually put them back. I thought I would be able to separate the hood sections, and maybe I can later, but we'll see. So now I shall try, after I cut the wires to the headlights, to lift the hood off. This video is just for the purpose of showing how the solenoid to the starter is wired presently. I did have a 6-volt solenoid on here before that worked fine. It only had 1 terminal as opposed to 2, but this one works too as long as the ground button works. And I have ordered a new starter switch, which goes right there. There's the ignition switch. It works fine. Carburetor is fine. Alternator is fine as far as I know. A new starter was I put a new starter in about a year ago, and a new carburetor. Other than that, I have changed the transmission oil, which is 8W90 weight, as well as the power lift unit right there, which uses the same fluid. And it is now August 30th, I think, and I have not changed the differential fluid oil ever, so that's on my list. So that's the old Jubilee. I am going to rewire it, just since I've got it apart and I've ordered some new parts. While I'm waiting on the parts, I may as well rewire it. Okay, the last wires that I cut were 3 wires headed from the light switch, which is right there, up to the headlights, and one really yellow line wire that I'm not sure about, but I'm sure I can figure it out later. Now, the test to see if I by myself can get the hood off and on the ground. And there's Miss Jubilee with no hood. Oh, she's hoodless. But you can see how much easier it will be to replace these wires. And if you don't think they need to be replaced, just take a look. They're pretty old, but there's not that many. Actually, if you didn't want to hook the lights up, which would probably be a good idea not to hook them up, and that way you don't have to ever worry about, in your senior moment, leaving the lights on and running the battery down. I don't think I'm going to be doing any bush hogging at night. So I may just do that. Distributor, coil, hydraulic pump, the infamous sediment bowl, which I will now for sure make sure does not leak before I put Jubilee back together. Just as a reminder to me, the ammeter is not hooked up. The oil pressure gauge did work. The water temperature gauge did not. The tach sort of worked, but not well. No problem. As long as I have an oil pressure gauge, the other stuff doesn't really matter. The starter button right there is going to be replaced because that one obviously had a dead short. So when the parts come in, we shall get back to work.